Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss 5 ways to strengthen your residency application for Canada. What I mean by that is from the day you landed to Canada and the day you're applying for your residency. There is a duration and what are the things you can do to make improvise your profile for the residency application. So without wasting any time, let's get started. First of all, there are 5 things which I'm going to discuss in my whole video: clinical assistance, research assistant, volunteer opportunities, clinical observership, and some of the bonus activities which can help you to strengthen your profile and improvise your own application for the residencies. Number one is the clinical assistant. As everybody is aware about, clinical assistant is a position where someone can work under a licensed physician in a way that they are seeing patients, they are doing everything for the patients, but they cannot put their name as a doctor. They can say they are as a clinical assistant. But the most important perspective of clinical assistant is it should be licensed. The licensed clinical assistant position has the more weightage on your application as compared to the non-licensed. So what are the benefits you can see? Definitely it's a paid position and you will be going in person seeing patients, and you have a clinical positions that will help you to gain experience, like a one-to-one experience, hands-on experience in the Canadian healthcare system, which is very strong. Few requirements which I would mention is QE1 exam, NAC/OSCE, and language proficiency. But each province has a different criteria. In one of the province like Manitoba, they don't ask for both of the exams. If one of the exam is cleared, they can still take you as a clinical assistant licensed. What are the provinces which can give you the licensed clinical assistant position at this point of time? I'm not sure about future, but today if we talk about it, it's the Manitoba, Alberta, Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, Newfoundland, and Labrador. These are the 5 main provinces which can give you an opportunity to work as a clinical assistant, but being registered with their College of Physician and Surgeons. So whichever the province you're applying, you need to apply through their College of Physician and Surgeons, and you get the license, and then you can secure a job as a clinical assistant where you will be working under a licensed clinical assistant position. So this is a very important, and I think if you gain this experience, your chances of getting into the residency is super high. Even in the same province or a different province, it does not matter. Second thing is research assistant. As research assistant is being booming these days, research is more highly valuable, and if you are applying for a Carms residency, probably your research section should be fulfilled so that they can say that okay, you are having a multi perspectives in terms of your medical field. In terms of PRAs and MLP-IMG, they don't look for research assistants positions at the point, but having into the profile will definitely give you some of the transferable skills confidence. So let's get started about this. In terms of benefits, it's a paid position. Most of the time you get an in-person. You can get the reference for the letter of residency if it's applicable and your program is asking for a residency reference from anywhere, or it can help you to at least get a reference letter for your clinical assistant positions, because sometimes clinical assistant job employees ask you for a reference, and that your person who is working with you as a research assistant, your supervisor or anybody, can help then give you the references. Research position will definitely help you to gain experience, number one thing. But the most important thing, which in my perspective is very important, is developing your transferable skills. That means your communication skills, your English language speaking, your teamwork, your networking. All of these things will help you to gain your residency application more strengthened, because as a physician, they don't just look for a medical expert perspective, they look you for an overall well-being and overall of your kind of a communications and everything they look for. So what are the requirements if you want to apply for a research assistant? It could be having a previous research experience would definitely be an asset for you. If you have it done in your home country, if you have done somewhere else, it will be easy for you to get a job. Number 2 is good clinical practice certification is very good and very helpful to tell your employees where you are applying for a research assistant that I am highly influenced to be into the research. It's not something I'm just trying to check out my residency, but if I don't get a residency at some point of time, research would be my second backup options. Number 3, which is very readily available, which is free. You can just write on the Google Tri-Council Policy Statement, Ethical Conducts for Research Involvement Human. It's from the Government of Canada. It's free and it's very a good course that will help you to gain most of the insight how the research works in Canada. Number 4 is you should be familiarizing yourself with the PubMed, Google Scholar and other stuffs, because when you're working as a research assistant, you might need to use these kinds of stuff more often. So that means if you're having in your resume, you write it down that you are knowing about these databases while applying for a research assistant position, probably it will help you. How to get the research assistant job? That's a very common question. You can go through LinkedIn, you can go through Indeed, Glassdoor, or anywhere where you feel like there is a posting available. But the most important thing which I feel like is go to the professors and researchers and sending them a cold emails. What I mean by that is make your template, go to the university website, see who is interested in research, get their professional emails, write down an email to their professional emails and send them. You might not get a response from each and everyone, but if you apply for 50 people's, you send the emails to 50, probably 1 or 2 will reply you, and that will be your, because you just need to secure one position, you don't have to secure 50 positions. So I think cold emailing is a very good way to start if you cannot find or secure any positions through the job portals. Attending conferences and webinar, talking to people, getting their interest, showing your goals, and everything will help you to connect, and that will make you securing a position. Exploring research opportunities in the hospital. Sometimes just write down the hospital which is near you. Let's suppose if you're living in Toronto, University of Toronto, clinical research units, and then go on the Google and find out if there's a job available. Just apply that. As much as you can apply, at least you will get one person who will be helping you to secure positions. There might be many of them will ignore it. There might be many of them will not be able to reach back to you. But still, you can get a chance by that one person who will be the correct at the right timing. What is a drawback? At some point of time, in my own experience, I would say you can do a volunteer research assistant. You don't ask for a money. Just say, I want to do it. That's it. Or you can do it a volunteer for virtual positions too. Is still worthwhile to having in your residency. If I tell my personal experience, I did 4 years of volunteer research assistant virtual positions. It's a lot. I never asked for a payment. I never asked for any salary. I was keep doing it just to keep myself tracked and keep myself telling that I'm doing something. So that could be a drawback at some point of view, but I do not personally feel that's a very big drawback. But yes, if you do have issues with the money, you need to do some job that gives you money, that might be not right position, but you can do it. If you're doing it voluntarily, you don't have to give much hours as a person who is getting paid, giving them much more hours. So that could be one of the things. Number 3 is volunteer opportunities. This is very easy to get, very simple to work. But from my perspective, when you see yourself as a doctor in your home country, and when you come to Canada and doing some of the very basic stuff, you feel like, is it worthwhile for me to do it? Believe me, your compassion and your competency levels will be developed in these opportunities. It's not something what you are doing. It's what your future will be building up. Your foundation will be going very well. So in terms of this, it could be in person, it could be virtual. It depends on everyone's. If you want to do some virtuals, you have to just try to use some Google portal to see what are the virtual opportunities where you can do it. It's not something you have to do it on medical perspectives. You can do it in any place where the community is being served. So that could be one of the things. Like one of the common one which I've seen is dementia peoples. You just have to talk to the dementia peoples on phone. Just see how they are doing. What are their things? Just checking on them every day. Just 10 minutes call to a person and talk to them and get a nice insight of that person. It's a volunteer opportunity. You are still serving a community. You are still serving an individual. Second thing, which transferable skills, why I'm highlighting it again and again, is this is very important when you work as a physician and talking to your patients, talking to your colleagues, talking to your administrative department, because your communication skills should be the best one, where you will see yourself as a physician as well as being in a workplace where you will be saying that, okay, whatever I'm saying, it's understandable to everyone. So that will help you. Teamwork, workplace is the best way to to see that how teamwork you are, and you have to develop those skills. And workplace culture, let's suppose if you're working as a volunteer position and somewhere in person, you can still look for the workplace culture. One of the things which I feel like is, if you work in a hospital setting, it will be very good for you to just understand how the system works without engaging into that. Getting the reference letter for residency, if applicable, or for clinical assistant job position, sometimes it's helpful. I got one of my volunteer positions reference letter for my clinical assistant job. So that's a very nice way to get connections, get your supervisor know you, give you a good reference letter. Maybe it can help you to gain the clinical assistant position, and that clinical assistant supervisor will help you to gain the reference letter for your residency. So the track will be little haphazard, but definitely it will help you to gain a reference letter, which is very important to you. Improve your understanding for local healthcare system. Either you work anywhere, in a long-term care, in a hospitals, you will really understand how the system works. What are the requirement? The minimum two requirement which I have seen a lot is immunization records. You can, if you are still not in a position to apply for a volunteer position, you can still get your immunization record from your home country. Come here, ask your primary doctor to convert it into your Canadian province provisional immunization record setting. What are the immunization is not done, you can get it now if it's applicable. That will help you to complete your requirements. And the criminal check record, that could be virtual, and it's not very super hard to do it, so you can do that. Just Google it if you find it difficult how to get it. Where and what kind of volunteer opportunities, that might be a common questions. In my own personal experience, I would say long-term care, where the peoples who are living with the disabilities, who are living with the old age peoples, who are living with the long-term chronic issues, that kind of peoples can get help from you guys. Hospital is the very good place to start your volunteer positions. Nursing homes, old age home cares, and organizational opportunities. There are many ways you can put yourself into the volunteer. Okay, if you're going to a long-term care, what's your plan? What you gonna do? What's your position? What's your role? Spending time to give quality of time with the resident. You just have to provide the quality of time. How you can do that? Reading books for them, playing games with them, connecting to their families through the iPad, taking them for a walk. And in hospital, what you can do, transferring the patients from one unit to a different unit, helping to serve the meals tray, taking the patients for a walk or outside, staying with them if they need one-to-one sitters, and playing board games. And some of the recreational activities, like if you take yourself in a hospital where there is a pediatric unit and you are going to the pediatric unit, you just have to stay with that kid into the playroom where the kid will be playing, and you just have to supervise that kid who is just 3 years old, 5 years old, having with the NG tube or something. So these kinds of things you can do it because you are a physician, you know how to deal with those things, right? So that could be one of the things which you can do. This is very simple, yes, but it's helpful because it shows that how compassionate you are towards your community. How to secure the positions? There are many ways to get it. Number one is, I would say, look for some organizational stuffs like Heart and Stroke Foundation, Canadian Red Cross, Canadian Cancer Society. They do have a lot of volunteer opportunities, and two of these Googles one I found out is volunteer.com .ca and govolunteer.ca. You can Google that and see if that's something interesting to you. Other is long-term care facility. Whichever whichever province you live, just Google long-term care facility near you, go on their website, look for any volunteer position, talk to their supervisor, go visit to that long-term care and find out if they have any volunteer opportunities. Or going on the hospital, each and every big hospital is having a volunteer programs. They always do because they are looking for volunteers. So if you get it, that will be good. One thing which I would say is, if you are working in a hospital as a volunteer, you are working in a pediatric unit and your residency interest is in pediatric, just look for the doctors, who the doctors are, who the residents are, how they are working. If you can get a chance to talk to a doctor, show your compassion, show your things, that might help you to gain at least a clinical observership opportunity, at least a clinical assistant opportunity. At least they will come to know you. So that could be one of the very good things to make connections, to making your networking. What are the drawbacks? Definitely it's a volunteer position, it's a not paid. Maybe you'll never get paid. Your coming and going transportations and other stuff, your lunch and everything has to be arranged by you. But I would say it's still worthwhile to do it for your residency. Might feel like, in my own opinion, I would say you might feel like a work is the different than you worth it, right? But still, just imagine it's just a stepping stone. You're not going to stay in that volunteer position for long. You're just going it for a stepping stone until you get your MD journey and going on residency. So these are all the things for volunteer. I feel personally that this is one of the best thing which I have done to get my residency. So wherever, whenever you can do it, you can do it. The one of the benefit which I haven't mentioned it here is you don't have to do it every day. You don't have to do it 4 hours a week. You don't have to do it 6 hours a week. It's up to you. Minimum you can do 2 hours a week. That's what the volunteer, because when you write in your resume, nobody asks you how many hours you worked in that place. Just they say that from this duration to this duration you worked. That's all. Nobody tell you that you need to come 5 days a week. No, you can just come once a day. You can come on weekends. You can come on evenings, whatever time suitable to you. So that's one thing about volunteer is very beautiful. Number 4, clinical observership. In my own opinion, clinical observership is a very good start to get into the clinical experience. Observership means you're observing. You are not going to touch the patients. You are not going to talk to patients at some of the settings. But what are the benefits? Definitely gaining one-to-one clinical experience in the Canadian healthcare system, networking with the Canadian physicians, and it might help you to secure references for residency or for clinical assistant. It depends what your residency applications look like and what the reference requirements are. But this is a non-hands-on practice, so it could be possible that you don't get the best reference as you will be getting in clinical assistant. But for clinical assistant, for sure you'll get this type of reference. Is very helpful. It will help you to develop your professionalism by understanding how to interact with the patients in the Canadian healthcare system, because you will be observing your supervisor. Transferable skills, again the same thing, but here you're not talking to patients, you're talking to your colleagues, you're talking to your seniors, you're talking to your supervisor. So that will be one of the communications. Clinical observership is a short term, 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks. It's an unpaid position for sure, but you will get an opportunity to stay into the healthcare system, be into that scrubs, and see the system how it works. Non-hands-on experience. This is the most important thing I would say. Clinical observership is just a non-hands-on experience. You are just shadowing a family physician, a licensed physician, and observing the patient care. That's all you are doing. What are the requirement? Immunization record. Yes, because you work in a hospital, you need to be immunized for sure. Police check clearance, of course. You have to go for observership application wherever it's applicable, and language proficiency. How to secure a position? That's a very important question. My only understanding and my personal experience is just go into the hospital, go into the department, see a person where you can find a person who is having ID. It could be nurse, it could be health aide, it could be resident, it could be senior resident, it could be physician itself. You don't know, that's fine. Just talk to them. My name is this, I am IMG. I'm looking to have an observership opportunity in this hospital. Can I get some information? Do you have some idea? How can I get it? Anybody. If they don't know it, they will at least guide you and navigate you where to go. Second thing is you can go into the websites of the hospitals, of the primary care clinics, and search engine and see if they have any observership opportunities. Or third thing, which I feel like, is going to the visiting to the clinics, at least the clinics which is 5 kilometers near your house, and you can just go and talk to the reception that I'm IMG. I want to talk to the physician who is working here. Can I talk? Can I take few moments? Can I put my resume? Can I go for this? So that will help you to see your passion about starting working in the clinical settings. And designated departments, you can go in the hospital. As I said, I got my clinical observership like this. I went to the family medicine department in one of the tertiary hospitals, and I talked to a person who was a resident who says, I don't know, but you can go to Dr. XYZ, he might help you. And I was just talking to the reception and saying, can I get any address or any information about XYZ doctor? And the doctor was just crossing behind me, and he just stopped because I took his name, and he asked me, and I secured that position in the hallway. This is my personal experience. So I would say don't hesitate, just go for it. What worse will happen? You'll not get it. But the thing, you are still not getting it when you're staying at home and just assuming that you'll not get it. Just try it. Cold emails to the departments, or at least to the administrative persons. It's a very good opportunity. Administrative peoples may reply you sooner than the head departments, but sending an email to both of them is a very good idea. So this is the all the way you can take in clinical observership opportunity. It's a very short term opportunity. It's like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on where you are doing it, but it will really help you to get a reference, get a connections, and see how the system works, how to communicate with your colleagues, and being in a teamwork. The last one, which I would say is the bonus one, is just a way which is temporary, which is not a regular basis, which probably not paid, but that will really help you to show how good you are in working with a diverse background peoples. With the diverse background peoples means, as Canada is a land of immigrants, so probably if you are working in a 6 different background peoples, you will be the best physician in future, because your patients will be coming from everywhere, right? So that could be one of the things. What are the things will help you to, when you do these bonus activities, you will get leaderships, you can have initiative roles into the community projects, you can have the cultural competency because you're working with a diverse community population, and that will help you to have a teamwork and communications. What are the types of roles you can do is community services, by organizing health fairs, educational workshop into the religious or cultural centers, like any recreational centers or something, church, temples, mosque, everywhere, wherever you feel comfortable to be going and doing something of community services, that's best. Supporting underserved communities by doing it food bank or shelter. These are the things you don't have to do it regular basis. You just have to do it once or twice, maybe once a month, twice a month. You can still be putting in your resume that you did these types of work. Participating in health camping, especially fundraising events and charity runs for care, for cancer awareness, for mental health. There are multiple Alzheimer's. There are many things going on around you. Just Google it and see where you can feel yourself comfortable going it. You don't have to travel to the next province and you have to do some kind of activities there. You can do in your own community where you are living. You just have to find out and figure out the things. And last but definitely not the least, outreaching the vulnerable population. Which vulnerable population? Seniors, refugees, low-income peoples, health education, giving them support programs, maybe providing some mental health brochures and everything to them. So this is all about 5 ways to strengthen your application. There might be a lot in the market. If your friend or your senior or your junior has done something differently, that would be great to initiate. But these are the 5 things which help me to get my residency. I have done all of these things before I apply for a residency. So I would say that these are for sure 100% helpful to you. You might don't know. You might don't know where your long-term 2 hours a week program can help you. But definitely if you are giving an interview and they ask you a question and that can relate yourself to the question, maybe getting an example, that will be great. So just try to see where you can do it. If you guys need any kind of expanded information about one of these activities, please give me a comment. I will try my best to provide you the information. And if you're living in a specific province where I'm very much familiar, I might be able to give more insight about that. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me to grow on my team. If you have any questions, if you think anything which I haven't added, just let me know, so next time I can add those parts. Thank you so much and good night.